Just when you thought reality TV couldn't possibly crank up the chaos any further, boom, plot twist. If you figured you'd seen every kind of meltdown on Love and Hip Hop, think again, because Mendeecees just redefined drama, and this time it's not your average shouting match. We're talking about a moment so intense it's got fans side-eyeing their TV screens, questioning the meaning of loyalty, and maybe even the entire idea of reality. Picture this. Rasheeda, fierce and unapologetic, goes toe-to-toe with Yandy in a confrontation thick with tension and secrets left unsaid. Sparks are flying, and not the romantic kind. Then, out of nowhere, in walks Mendeecees. Yes, that Mendeecees. The guy who's built his whole image around being a devoted family man. And what does he do? He slaps Rasheeda in front of everyone. Not metaphorically, not a verbal jab. A literal, full-on slap that felt like it was ripped straight out of a dramatic telenovela. Now the real question, was he stepping in to protect his wife? Or was this just a snap moment of misplaced rage? Either way, it left everyone, cast, crew, and fans, stunned. And just when people were starting to write off Love and Hip Hop as scripted drama, this bombshell reminded us all, the realest twists are the ones no one sees coming. Buckle up, because this scandal is just getting started, and it's one for the messy history books. Just when you thought reality TV had exhausted every possible twist and turn, bam, it flips the script again. Love and Hip Hop, the show that's basically a drama goldmine, has served us countless unforgettable moments. But this latest showdown, it left fans speechless and the internet on fire. Let's set the scene. It's supposed to be just another day in the Love and Hip Hop universe, but things go from zero to chaos in seconds. Rasheeda, bold, blunt, and never one to bite her tongue, storms in with a purpose. She's done holding back and is ready to finally confront Yandy, her longtime friend turned frenemy. There's history between them, and not the kind that gets settled with a hug and a heart-to-heart. We're talking deep, messy, years in the making tension bubbling under the surface. Yandy, caught off guard but not backing down, braces herself. Words start flying, emotions are high, and just when you think it can't get more intense, in walks Mendeecees, and that's when everything explodes. Yandy stands her ground. No backing down, no blinking. The air between her and Rasheeda is electric, crackling with years of unspoken tension. You can almost feel the room holding its breath. Everyone's expecting fireworks between the two women, but nobody saw what was coming next. Enter Mendeecees. He steps in, not as the calm voice of reason, not as the family man fans thought they knew, but as someone who's reached his breaking point. His face says it all. He's over it. No more playing mediator, no more keeping the peace. And instead of diffusing the situation, he snaps. Without a word of warning, he crosses the line and slaps Rasheeda, right there, in front of everyone. The sound echoes louder than the gasps that follow. It wasn't a shove, not an outburst of yelling, a full-on slap, the kind that instantly freezes time. The room erupts in disbelief. This isn't the typical drink-throwing, table-flipping chaos Love and Hip Hop is known for. This moment, it felt dangerously real, but the slap, that was just the opening act. Because right after, Mendeecees lets loose with a verbal tirade that peels back layers of resentment, betrayal, and frustration, leaving everyone stunned and unsure of what's real anymore. In an instant, the tension in the room skyrockets from already intense to absolutely unhinged. Mendeecees turns to Yandy, eyes blazing, and fires off a line that sends shockwaves through the room. You think you can touch my wife and get away with it? Boom. The real reason behind his outburst comes crashing into the spotlight, and suddenly it's clear this isn't just about defending Yandy. This is about drawing a line in the sand, publicly and without apology. For months, maybe even years, rumors had swirled like storm clouds over Rasheeda and Yandy's rocky relationship. Whispers behind closed doors, subtle digs in confessionals, the kind of long-simmering beef that fans speculated about but no one dared to address head-on, until now. And Mendeecees? He wasn't just reacting, he was detonating, but with an outburst. That loud, the fallout was inevitable. Social media exploded. Viewers were outraged. Memes, think pieces, and hot takes flooded every timeline. Everyone had an opinion. Was it justified? Was it too far? Was it real? But here's the real question everyone's been asking. Why now? Why did Mendeecees choose this moment to explode? Let's rewind. This is a man who's been through the ringer. From legal battles that played out on national TV to constantly being under the microscope as one of the central figures in the Love and Hip Hop universe, Mendeecees has carried the weight of public judgment for years. Every move, every misstep, every private moment turned into a headline. He's played the composed husband, the supportive partner, the peacemaker. But even the calmest storms have a breaking point, and this was his. Mendeecees has weathered storms before, from the roller coaster of family life to complicated ties with both Rasheeda and Yandy. So why this moment? Why now? What pushed him past the edge? Was it unfinished business between two women, locked in a feud that never really cooled off? Was it pride, bruised, provoked, and finally snapping? Or maybe it was something deeper, a pressure point pressed too many times for too long. Whatever the reason, one thing is crystal clear. That slap wasn't just about the heat of the moment. It was the eruption of months, maybe years, of buried tension, quiet resentment, and mounting frustration. It was the physical expression of everything Mendeecees had kept bottled up behind the scenes, now laid bare for the world to see. But reality TV might thrive on chaos, and drama might drive ratings. Yet moments like this come with real consequences. Because when the lights go off, the cameras cut, and the crew calls it a wrap. Real lives are still unraveling. Relationships are fractured, trust is broken, and reputations, they're up for grabs. But before we get into the fallout and the headlines that followed, let's rewind and look at what triggered this firestorm. Rasheeda and Yandy's relationship had been hanging by a thread for a while. What started as side-eye tension grew into open hostility. In recent months, things took a sharp turn. Insults traded, private business aired, and subtle shade turned into open shots. This wasn't your average on-screen disagreement. This was a full-blown feud, long simmering and dangerously close to boiling over. And on that day, it finally did. It wasn't just a feud. It was a storm silently brewing, inching closer to detonation with every passing episode. For months, the energy between Rasheeda and Yandy had shifted from chilly to downright combustible. Rasheeda, never one to hold back, had been vocal about her frustrations. She wasn't just throwing shade, she was shining a spotlight on what she saw as manipulation, disrespect, and a quiet attempt by Yandy to chip away at her credibility and her connection to Mendeecees. And speaking of Mendeecees, imagine being stuck between two strong-willed women locked in a power struggle. He tried to play neutral, the peacemaker. But neutrality, when emotions are running high, often feels like betrayal to both sides. The resentment, it built slowly, quietly, until silence wasn't an option anymore. So when Mendeecees walked into that room and saw the argument unfold, he wasn't just reacting to that moment. He was reacting to every moment that had come before it. Every whispered jab, every unresolved conversation, every time he felt pulled in two directions. That slap wasn't random. It was the breaking point. A final, messy, irreversible response to years of emotional wear and tear. And now, there's no undoing it, no walking it back. The damage is done, and the ripple effect is just beginning. Because what comes next isn't just fan backlash or trending hashtags. It's the real, personal aftermath, the shattered trust, the fractured relationships, the public judgment. This moment might have started as just another explosive reality TV scene, but now it's become something bigger, a cultural flashpoint, a test of loyalty, and the kind of turning point that leaves a permanent mark. And this is where things really start to spiral. Because now Mendeecees isn't just facing the heat from Rasheeda or the cast, he's standing in the direct path of public backlash. The slap heard round reality TV is lighting up the internet, and it's not just drama anymore. It's a cultural firestorm. Let's be clear, this moment wasn't just a scene. It was a spark, a single action that triggered a chain reaction, and the dominoes are falling fast. Now Mendeecees is dealing with the consequences on every front, not just inside the love and hip-hop world, but in his real life, with real relationships and real reputations at stake. What played out in a few seconds on screen could reshape everything he's built. But before we get into the long-term damage, let's rewind a bit to the exact moment the scene aired. Because when that slap hit the screen, social media did what it does best. It exploded. Within minutes, timelines were flooded. Twitter was ablaze. Instagram stories turned into reaction reels. Facebook groups lit up with debates. Hashtags like #Mendeecees, Rasheeda, Yandy drama, and Mar love and hip-hop meltdown started trending. Faster than producers could refresh their mentions, fans were split. Some were outraged, others were stunned, and everyone had an opinion. Was it justified? Was it too far? Was it real? Some were calling it the most shocking moment in love and hip-hop history. Others were demanding accountability, and a few were asking the uncomfortable questions about what kind of behavior gets normalized in the name of good TV. The commentary wasn't just noise. It was loud, passionate, and full of emotion, because this wasn't just about a slap. It was about respect, power, loyalty, gender, violence, reality. And the line between entertainment and real life suddenly felt paper thin. This wasn't just a little on-screen squabble. This wasn't your average reality TV spat with some name-calling and a dramatic exit. This was chaos, raw, unfiltered, and unforgettable. The slap divided the fan base in a way few moments ever do. Some viewers immediately rallied behind Rasheeda, calling her the victim of an outrageous and unacceptable outburst. Others threw their support behind Mendeecees, claiming he was just protecting his wife. And then then, in a wild twist, Yandy started catching heat too. That's right. A chunk of the internet pointed the finger at her, saying her disrespect and stirring the pot energy triggered the entire showdown. The takes were coming in hot, and no one was safe from judgment. Even more shockingly, some fans said Mendeecees was right to do what he did, claiming that if you come for a man's wife, you'd better be ready for the consequences. But others weren't having it. They called the slap a line crossed, full stop. No excuse, no justification. It was a digital battlefield with timelines full of heated debates, impromptu TikTok breakdowns, Twitter threads dissecting every second, and hashtags like Jachers, Love and Hip Hop, Chacha Mendeecees Meltdown, and unscripted drama climbing the charts. But while fans were glued to their screens, binging the drama in real time, behind the scenes, the vibe was a whole different story. Because when reality TV gets too real, producers start sweating bullets. Whispers quickly surfaced that Love and Hip Hop's production team had been blindsided. Sure, they're no strangers to mess, they practically market it. But this was an atomic-level incident in a space designed for safe chaos. One insider even admitted, "We expected yelling, maybe a drink toss. Definitely not that. The slap wasn't in the script. It wasn't approved. Heck, it wasn't even hinted at in the day's outline." According to an anonymous producer, the second the cameras cut, the set turned ice cold. The cast was stunned. Crew members were frozen. And just like that, an emergency meeting was called. Fast. Damage control was officially in motion. Allegedly, Rasheeda wasn't having it. She was done. Done with the cameras, done with the production, and definitely done with Mendeecees. Word on the street is that she flat out refused to continue filming until something was done about what just went down. She wasn't just angry, she was humiliated, disrespected, and feeling completely betrayed, not only by Mendeecees but by the entire Love and Hip Hop crew. Rasheeda reportedly said, "This ain't just TV no more. That man really put his hands on me." And she wasn't wrong. The slap was real, the pain was real, and this moment was going to echo far beyond the cameras. But wait, while Rasheeda was stewing in anger, the other half of this explosive drama, Yandy, wasn't exactly sitting back and letting things slide. Sources say that as soon as the slap landed, Yandy didn't just stand there stunned. No, she immediately ripped off her mic and stormed out of the venue knowing exactly what. This would mean chaos, controversy, and a PR nightmare in the making. Yandy's image? It's always been one of control. The cool, calm, strategic diplomat. On camera, she's the one holding it together. But now she found herself right in the heart of a toxic triangle, and the cameras caught it all. But Rasheeda, she wasn't about to bottle this up. No, she didn't just head home and stew in silence. Allegedly, she drove straight to Kirk. That's right, her husband. Word has it she walked in, furious and in tears, spilling everything about the slap. Kirk, known for keeping a low profile when the drama hits, wasn't having it this time. Allegedly, he made some serious calls, reaching out to producers, lawyers, and maybe even a few people behind the scenes to start making moves. This wasn't just a reality TV fallout. This was the beginning of something much bigger, and everyone involved knew it. If it's TV or not, y'all better fix this. And you can feel the weight of those words. Kirk was no longer just a husband. He was a man on a mission, and this was personal. Meanwhile, Mendeecees? Oh, he's scrambling. Damage control mode was in full effect. According to insiders, he's doing everything he can to downplay the situation. He's reportedly claiming it wasn't a slap, more of a reactionary tap. In his version of events, Rasheeda allegedly got in his face, saying disrespectful things about Yandy and his family. One supposed quote from Mendeecees, "She was coming for my wife. What was I supposed to do? Let her disrespect us like that." On national TV? But here's the kicker. The internet wasn't buying it. Social media erupted with even more fury. Fans weren't just outraged over the slap. They were now digging into Mendeecees' entire history on the show. Old footage surfaced, and with it, fans began painting a picture of him as, well, less than flattering. They pulled up clips from past seasons, highlighting moments where Mendeecees had been passive-aggressive, manipulative, and, at times, downright shady. The backlash was swift and relentless. They weren't just calling him out for the slap anymore. They were accusing him of toxic behavior across the board, painting him as a repeat offender. The heat was on. And Mendeecees was now in the center of a firestorm, both on and off the screen. Mendeecees, however, seemed to double down, leaning into his family man image as his defense. Some are saying he's developed a hero complex, using his role as a protector to justify his increasingly controlling behavior. The internet was quick to call it out, though. They saw through the veneer of the family man persona, and to them, it was all just a mask for toxic behavior. Meanwhile, Rasheeda's supporters were far from quiet. The Patra Team Rasheeda train quickly gathered speed, with influencers, bloggers, and even a few celebrities jumping on the bandwagon. Clips of the slap spread like wildfire, and Rasheeda's side wasn't just about the slap anymore. It was about standing up against mistreatment. One viral tweet captured the mood perfectly. Rasheeda always carried herself like a queen. This was disgusting. Protect Black women at all costs. And that tweet? It didn't just land, it exploded. Within 24 hours, it had over $250,000 likes and went viral across platforms. This wasn't just reality TV drama. This was quickly becoming a movement. The call for accountability, for respect, and for protecting women from violence and mistreatment had grown far beyond the show. But just when you thought the storm couldn't get worse, another bombshell dropped. Allegedly, after her confrontation with Kurt, Rasheeda didn't just sit back and wait, she took action. She reportedly reached out directly to Mona Scott-Young, the executive producer of Love and Hip Hop, demanding answers. And Mona, she was reportedly blindsided. Blindsided by the intensity of the situation, the unplanned slap, and the eruption of backlash that followed. A source close to production claimed Mona's response to Rasheeda was, "We didn't see it coming. We're reviewing the footage and having internal discussions." Internal discussions? This was no longer just about the cast. It was about the very fabric of the show itself. Internal discussions? More like a panic mode behind the scenes. Mona and the production team were scrambling, trying to figure out how to spin this situation without ending up in court. Damage control was their #1 priority. Insiders say Mona even considered shoving the footage entirely, hoping to bury it before it went viral. But by then, it was too late. The cat was out of the bag. The footage had already leaked. It wasn't just a minor spoiler anymore. It was everywhere. Behind-the-scenes screenshots, TikToks, blurry vertical video clips from the audience, even whispers from crew members all found their way to the press. The internet had taken over, and there was no turning back. Suddenly, this wasn't just another scene from a reality show. This was a national scandal. TMZ, The Shade Room, Hollywood Unlocked, they all pounced. Headlines screamed, "Mendeecees caught slapping Rasheeda in explosive scene. Fans demand accountability." Articles with titles like that flooded the media, and the situation was officially out of control. Mendeecees' name was trending, but not in a good way. He was now associated with words like abuse, scandal, and canceled. The fallout had already begun, and there was no stopping it. As always, for Yandy, she went full ghost mode. No posts, no stories, no public comments. Absolutely radio silence. And if you know anything about Yandy, you know this wasn't her typical move. The woman is never quiet, unless of course she's got something to hide. Yandy's silence was deafening, but it didn't stop the critics. They came out in full force. People were asking, how are you going to be in the middle of all this and not say a word? The internet was quick to pounce, accusing Yandy of sitting back while Mendeecees did the dirty work. Some argued that she was using him as her attack dog, knowing he'd explode and then conveniently backing off when things got messy. Others even suggested she manipulated the entire situation for more screen time. And of course, where there's smoke, there's fire. Conspiracy theories started circulating. Some fans even claimed the whole fight was staged for ratings, though most insiders quickly denied it. The scene wasn't scripted, but hey, the drama sure felt too perfect to be real. Just when you thought the scandal couldn't possibly get any juicier, in swoops K. Michelle. And of course, she wasn't going to sit this one out. K. Michelle took to Instagram Live with her signature flair and dropped a cryptic message that fans immediately connected to the ongoing drama. She said, "Y'all better stop letting these power couples fool y'all. Just because someone's wearing matching Gucci doesn't mean they got peace at home." Boom, the internet exploded again. Fans were losing their minds, trying to decipher whether K. Michelle was throwing shade at Mendeecees, Yandy, or both. Was she calling them out as a power couple whose public image was a complete facade? Or was she just feeding into the growing drama for her own entertainment? Whatever the case, K. Michelle had once again stirred the pot, and the internet was eating it up. K. Michelle's cryptic message was like fuel to a wildfire. Fans flooded the comments, speculating, she's talking about Yandy and Mendeecees. K. Michelle is spilling the tea. And then, as if on cue, the tweets came pouring in. Within minutes, her Instagram Live was screen recorded, reposted, and even spliced into dozens of TikTok theories. The drama was no longer confined to the Love and Hip Hop universe. It was a full-blown social media spectacle. Now, it wasn't just the central trio of Rasheeda, Yandy, and Mendeecees wrapped in scandal. The entire cast had been pulled into this mess, with even celebrities chiming in, adding fuel to the fire. Fans were obsessed, and the commentary was getting louder and more intense by the minute. And then, we get to VH1. The network wasn't just sitting on the sidelines anymore. They were in full damage control mode. Inside sources say there were daily internal meetings happening, with lawyers combing through contracts, and high-level executives debating the best course of action. Some wanted to pull the next episode altogether, while others argued it might be better to air it with a massive disclaimer to warn viewers. But here's the real kicker: Rasheeda. Sources close to the production have revealed that Rasheeda has been offered her own spin-off show in the wake of the chaos. You heard that right, a spin-off. The fans adore Rasheeda. She's authentic, emotional, and most importantly, real. People respect her. According to one insider, if she walks, we lose a major part of the show.